Hey guys, I know it's been a while, um, and normally my videos are better quality than this. However, my camera is not charged, and I really don't feel like holding up my phone for the duration of filming. So I'm using my laptop, and so please bear with me and forgive me for the poor video quality and for the poor audio quality. It's also almost 11 o'clock at night. Um, No, it is. It's 11:11. Uh, and um, I've been being kept up by Grace and Minimac too, and so I figured if I'm up, I might as well go ahead and do a video. So um, I'm going to talk to you guys about the complications I had during my pregnancy with Grace, what they are, what that meant for me with that pregnancy, and also what of those complications are affecting me with Minimac 2 and how they are different this time, as well as since all our friends and family know the gender of Minimac 2 now, I will be revealing that, but I'm going to do that at the end of the video. So, to start, when I was pregnant with Grace, uh, both times for me, morning sickness, I was nauseous all the time, but I was able to not throw up a whole lot. Mostly I kept Altoids with me all the time, and I also have peppermint oil that I keep on hand, and just the smell of peppermint oil helps with nausea. Um, so that helps with those issues. With both Grace and Minimac too, the nausea really didn't make me want to eat very often, so I drank a lot of water instead. Um, when I was tested for gestational diabetes with Grace, it came back that I did have gestational diabetes. So at like 25 weeks or something like that, I went and saw a diabetes specialist that showed me how to use a glucometer and what kind of ranges things my blood sugar should be in, and then what kind of things I should eat. Now, uh, where I run into problems is I can't eat raw tomato or raw onion. Both make me really sick. And once I was pregnant with Grace, cooked tomato. Um, I've never really liked ketchup that much, but I can't do like marinara sauces or anything like that. I just can't eat it. I get sick really fast. Um, but I'm allergic to all forms of fake sugar. I get sick very quickly. Um, and most of the options when you go in to see a diabetic specialist and they talk to you about options you have for eating things like yogurt or snack bars and things like that, most of the options that they give you are the light version, which instead of using actual sugar, use some sort of Splenda or something like that. And I can't do aspartame. I can't do any of those. I get um, within 10 to 15 minutes, I can be running for a bathroom on the max side of that. If I don't catch, normally I can taste the aftertaste, the difference of it not actually being sugar. So I had to do that. Now with Grace, even though I hadn't been eating a lot and I had been trying to eat very fresh, I like cooking things from scratch, so that kind of helps. But uh, we had a hard time. I took uh, medication. I ended up having to take 3 pills a day to help keep my blood sugars in check on top of diet. Um, and then at 26 weeks with Grace, I was hospitalized for 4 days. My doctor actually called me when I was walking back from having lunch in the choir room with the choir teacher where I was teaching, to my theater classroom in preparation for my advanced productions class. Uh, we were working on student written show, and I get a call and she goes, "You need to go to the hospital." It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I've got this, nice dinner for my advanced class tonight, and we've got our banquet tomorrow. Like, can this wait till Monday? And she kind of looked at me, or she on the phone. She goes, "No, I need you to pack up and get to the hospital as soon as possible." And I was like, okay. So luckily for my kiddos, there was a mom in the group for the group that was also a school employee, so she was able to take over and drive the kids to dinner and pay for everything and take care of all of that for us. So they were still able to have their dinner, and I, from the hospital room, announced all the awards over the phone for the kids. But I got put in the hospital because I had cholestasis of pregnancy. And cholestasis is where the liver can't properly uh, process out the bile acids, and they start backing up in the body. It causes extreme itching. It starts in the palms of the hand, soles of the feet, and it, as it itches, you could keep scratching, and you would never. I would have bled if I kept scratching to the point of actually trying to get real relief. And the more itching you have, and it's worse at night, the more bile acids are backed up. So the reason my doctor had me going to the hospital is because I had 3 different types of bile acids that were all 700 or 800, or the levels were all 7 or 800, and a dangerous level is like 40 to 60. So she put me in the hospital and immediately put me on a prescription called Ursidol, I believe, and I took that twice a day. So for the 4 days I was in the hospital, I was getting lots of ultrasounds to make sure that Grace was okay. And I was taking all the medications, and I had to be on the special diet, which hospital food's already, but then when you get the super healthy stuff on top of that, it just, there's not a lot of flavor. And yeah, so the medication worked, and I was able to go home on Monday. That was actually Mother's Day weekend before Grace was born. So Mother's Day weekend 2015. And it brought the bile acids back down. Now, by the end of the pregnancy with Grace, both the gestational diabetes and the cholestasis were having a really hard time keeping managed. And so we had scheduled a C-section or inducement at 37 weeks. And yeah, so the big danger, obviously the itching with cholestasis is not comfortable. But the big issue is that the bile acids backing up in the body, while not great for the adult, it poisons the baby, and it was going to make it very likely that it could cause stillbirth if it's not treated, because the baby ends up being poisoned while in the body. And so, I started doing more research on it once we found out what it was. My husband, who hates hospitals, I mean, there are people who hate hospitals, but he spent way more than his fair share of time in hospitals. Stayed with me the whole time, and we were doing research and trying to find out more about it and understand it better. And what I came basically because my body has the difficulties carrying the pregnancy that it does. What we would have seen if this was 50, 100 years ago is we thought I would have a hard time being able to get pregnant, which didn't end up being the case. But I would have been able to get pregnant, and then I would have had stillbirth after stillbirth after stillbirth, and no way of understanding why it was happening. So the good news is cholestasis and gestational diabetes are both things that are quite easily manageable today, and we know what they are, and they're not so rare. Cholestasis being a bit more rare, but not being so rare that doctors don't know how to treat it or what it is. So that's really exciting that they can treat it and manage it. And then I went into preterm labor with Grace. Water broke, and between water breaking right before 8 o'clock in the morning to emergency C-section, Grace was born at 10:09 in the morning. So we got up, we went to the hospital, they got me checked in. My doctor, of course, was out of town for 4th of July with her family, and the doctor who was taking her place had just left to go to a different hospital for a scheduled C-section when a third doctor checked to see how far along I was in labor and all of that, and I'd felt maybe 3 contractions, and she's like, yeah, no, you're not going to make it until the doctor gets back. And from that point on, they were still cleaning out the operation room while they were giving me my epidural and getting me situated on the table, and got Grace out of there really quickly. She was breech. When my water broke, I had very, very little fluid left. It was a major breaking of the water, and I was also fully dilated, and Grace was trying to come right then. So they needed to act more quickly. So because of that, and my other complications, I will probably have to do C-sections for any and all, including Mini-Mac 2. However, we think, we as in my family, my husband and I, we think that this one's going a bit easier, and part of that is because we knew about these complications and that they were likely to occur again. So with Mini-Mac 2, I was tested much earlier for gestational diabetes, and it did show up again. I didn't have diabetes after I had Grace, so it is just gestational diabetes. And I had already started eating again more of the diet given for diabetes, just because it's a healthier way of eating and an easy to manage way of eating. Before I got pregnant again, and getting pregnant again was a surprise, not planned. And so I think that kind of helped, because the gestational diabetes hasn't been an issue as much this time. But part of it is also I haven't had an appetite almost at all this time. The doctor was excited because I went in for my last appointment, and I gained 1 pound in this pregnancy, so there was some excitement that I actually gained a smidge of weight. But I'm holding pretty much at my pre-pregnancy weight with Mini-Mac 2. But I really haven't been able to eat that much. Kind of 1 meal a day, that sounds good. I've been grazing, so I'll have part of an egg, some nuts. I've been trying to stay higher in protein, not really do a whole lot of carbs because they're empty. A little bit of fruit, a little bit of veggie. But eating's just been, I haven't wanted much spicy food this time more. So I can do like a taco casa tostada or something with spice. uh, and I do really enjoy my honey butter chicken biscuits on, like, when I want them. Like, that's one of the things I want. Good news is I live in Texas and there are two Whataburgers within 10 to 15 minutes of the house. So um, my husband's gone out and gotten those a couple times at night for me, but not very often. And when I eat those, I can do my blood sugar, and for the most part, I can't eat enough to, even when I didn't have as much baby, because this one's, I've definitely gotten bigger and had a harder time with a lot of the normal developmental, just moving around pregnancy issues earlier than with Grace. Um, so yeah, that this pregnancy thing seemed to be a little bit easier management wise, partially because I knew about it beforehand. I think also getting pregnant at 200 pounds with Grace versus getting pregnant this time at 180 pounds made a difference. So there's that. I do have cholestasis again as well. I am taking medication for that already, and it seems to be working okay. I've had some issues with insurance and filling prescriptions with the cholestasis, but the pharmacy actually, I have to say that the CVS that fills my prescriptions, they worked really hard to try to make sure that everything's taken care of, mostly for the Ursodiol, so that I don't have to worry about not getting that prescription and ending up with a stillbirth because of it. There were some issues with processing and timeliness of the prescription being filled, and they just really listened, and we're just like, oh, we're so sorry, we understand, but nothing can happen from it. And they've actually, what can we do, what can we not do, what procedures can I follow to better help, making sure I get it, things like that too, so that we can work together as that particular store and myself to make sure that I get the prescriptions I need. So the itching has bothered me, but not quite as badly as before. I'm 30 weeks and several days. I get a little mixed up on the days of the week right now. Wednesday, I'm turning 30, and I will be 31 weeks pregnant with my second baby. So, I guess it's 2-3 days away. So, it's been a a lot of good things have been experiencing with this pregnancy, and knowing going into it a lot of the complications that were likely to happen has been. Sorry guys, I am quite tired. Like I said, Grace went down and then got up and then went down and got up, and I was watching the Cowboys game. I made it to halftime and I was like, oh, I'm going to bed, and that was at 9, and haven't been able to really sleep yet. And part of that's Grace and part of that's Mini Mac too. So the part that some of you have been waiting for, and that's probably the only reason that you're really wanting to watch, is to find out what Mini Mac 2 is. So we had some problems. I did a video when we were on the way to the sonogram hoping to find out gender, and Mini Mac 2 was not very cooperative. So we waited for a later sonogram with a clearer shot, and then Mini Mac 2 was very, very cooperative. So for those who follow this but are not on any of my private channels, because I don't know you in my personal life, we are excited because we are having another little girl. So we will have Grace Diane, who she will be just over a year and a half old. And we're hoping to make it to February 1st. That's our first big hurdle. If we make it to February 1st, I'll be 37 weeks, and then from there we're going to kind of see as far as we can get, see if we can actually make it to the February 22nd due date, or if this little one, if she's going to have to come early. And so we have Grace Diane, and then this one is going to be Ava Louise. So we're excited, and because of how well this pregnancy is going, in comparison to everything with Grace, with the same complications, it's looking like we might be able to try for a third, and we would really like that. So for any of you out there who are watching this and it's exciting, and you're positive thoughts, well wishes, prayers, however you put that out into the universe, and things, that the rest of this pregnancy goes smoothly, and Ava comes without any complication. Hopefully we won't have to have any NICU time this time. And yeah, so we're excited, and you get to see a part of my bedroom and me in bed because I was too tired to do anything else differently. And I know Christmas is coming. I probably won't video or post anything again before Christmas because I'll be spending a lot of time with family. And yeah, so some of my issues: gestational diabetes and cholestasis, pregnancy, and this pregnancy though is going pretty well, all things considered. And Grace is going to be a big sister to a little sister. And it looks like I know I'm a bit of a nerd, so if you heard it, that was my text message, because my husband was informing me that he's going to be home later from watching the Cowboys game with his brother, because his grandpa just got into town, and that he is going to bring me home a honey butter chicken biscuit. Of course, my brother coming in from out of state, that's in the Army, might be able to get it to me sooner. We'll find out how that works. So Grace is going to be an older sister to a little girl, and we're excited about the changes and opportunities that are coming up in the next year. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to start filming and uploading a bit more, but I haven't been as much because I just really want to spend. I keep looking over at the baby monitor. I want to spend more time with now my girl, but my girls, and yeah. So as always, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you don't like it, don't like it, and leave comments. And as always, please subscribe.